Hello Psychic Future fans, I'm Ellie Rose and I am talking to you today about Mercury Retrograde. So Mercury Retrograde is a really big thing. It's probably the thing that people know most about astrology. When it comes around, everybody panics and they go, oh my god, it's Mercury Retrograde again. And I wanted to do this post just because we've had so many people asking in comments and so many people phoning up and saying, hey, this one is really affecting me. What do I do about it? What does it even mean? So I wanted to clear some things up about Mercury Retrograde. Now, throughout 2020, we will have 3 Mercury Retrogrades. We will have them in February, March, June, July, and October, November. They always last for about 3 weeks. So we have 3 times a year for 3 weeks, which means that for 9 weeks of every year, we have this time where our thoughts are a little bit confusing, we're getting like overthinking, our communication with other people is perhaps a little bit confusing, and maybe we have some little kind of like frustrations with other people because we're not speaking clearly or they're not speaking clearly, they're not understanding us, and so we feel frustrated. In addition, Mercury retrograde affects technical things. So people always say make sure you back up your computer just before Mercury retrograde because this is the time when it'll all go wrong. In addition, plans, particularly travel plans, they can really backfire, so make sure that you double, triple, quadruple check your plans if you're going away or you've booked train tickets or something like that. So let's go a little bit deeper than that because these are the things that people always talk about with Mercury retrograde. But from my perspective, there is something a little bit deeper about Mercury retrograde, and actually it can be a very helpful time for us because what it's doing is it's trying to teach us a lesson about something. Now, for each Mercury retrograde is a different lesson, and for each person it will be a different lesson because obviously personally in our own charts Mercury retrograde will fall in a different place. It will aspect different planets in our own birth chart, so everybody is going to experience it slightly differently. So for the first one, February-March time, we have got Mercury retrograde starting in Pisces. Throughout the year we're then going to have June-July where it will be in Cancer. And then in October-November it will be in Scorpio. So this is a year of water retrogrades. We also had this in 2019. In 2019 we had 3 Mercury retrogrades in water. 2020, again, 3 Mercury retrogrades in water. So water represents our emotions. So what this is trying to teach us is that something we didn't quite learn in 2019. We need to still learn it. We need to still work on it. Now these will be things to do with how to basically think from your head and your heart at the same time, how to learn about your intuition, how to kind of like not control your emotions, but how to learn how to work with them. So in particular, this February-March one will be about your boundaries with other people. So you might find that the lessons that come up for you in February and March are things like how to say no to people, how to make sure you're taking care of yourself and not just giving yourself too freely to other people. For the Cancer one, in June-July time, this Mercury retrograde will be about how you nurture yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you have personal emotional security. So you will find that you are having perhaps a need to retreat away a little bit during this time in Mercury retrograde, June-July. It will be a time when you're kind of just going into yourself a little bit, you're being softer, you're looking after yourself, you're embodying that crab energy, so you're kind of like just going back into yourself a little bit and taking care of yourself. You might find that you want some more time with your family, you might find that you're a little bit more sensitive than usual. These are just signals for you to set some certain rules for yourself, like on Sundays I take a rest at home, or I don't necessarily give so much to certain people because they drain me of my energy. So it's kind of being a little bit more sensitive. Then by the time we get to the 3rd Mercury retrograde of the year in Scorpio, this one is all about trust. It's all about trust in other people. So we might find that we start to question the motives of other people. This can throw up problems in our relationships at times because we think maybe I can't trust that person. In addition, it's not just to do with our trust for other people, it's the trust we have in ourselves. Can I trust myself to fulfill my dreams? Can I trust myself to take care of myself? Can I trust myself to provide for my family? These kind of things will come up for us in this October-November Mercury retrograde. again, on an even higher level, is to do with our trust with divine. Do we trust that we are taken care of in this world? Do we have some sort of spiritual contact, or do we just think that it's all up to us, and that if we don't work so hard and if we don't carry all the weight of the world on our shoulders, then it'll all collapse around us? So this main theme of all these Mercury retrogrades is obviously to do with emotions, like I said, and how we learn to deal with our emotions. So these are times when you should not let yourself repress emotions. You should let them out, but you should also know that they might not be a true representation of how you feel, because Mercury retrograde can make things confusing. It can make problems seem bigger than they really are. So we can start to focus on those problems and think, oh, my relationship is awful, or my work is awful, or my life is awful, when actually this is just Mercury retrograde making a big problem out of a small problem. So yeah, let these emotions out, but also know that they are temporary. Don't get too attached to them. Don't think just because I feel upset in this moment, I'll feel upset forever. These are the lessons that Mercury retrograde tries to teach us, particularly Mercury retrograde in water. Another of the bigger themes is, again, this connection to divine. So during these Mercury retrograde times, it is so important that you do something spiritual. So this can be astrology, this can be tarot, this can be meditation, yoga, even something like swimming, taking a bath, getting in that water element, kind of like really nurturing yourself on a deeper, higher level. Listening to guided meditations on YouTube is a fantastic way to start if you don't know where to begin. Just something that connects you to your higher self, rather than constantly trying to think your way out of a problem, which is impossible. Sometimes we need to feel, sometimes we need to be intuitive, sometimes we need to just forget all of that Mercury stuff and that confusing overthinking and technical problems and miscommunications, and we need to just really go in it at a heart level. This is what 2020's Mercury retrogrades is all about. Yeah, obviously check in on my horoscopes, because there I will go into a little bit more detail week to week on what happens. But this is kind of the gist of Mercury retrogrades 2020. It's all about your emotions and kind of like learning how to live with them. And it's all about our connection to divine, learning how to rely on divine a little bit more and to kind of let that weight off our shoulders a bit more. So if you need any extra help, you can contact our psychic future advisors. They can give you more kind of tailored help. Otherwise, keep checking in with my horoscopes, with my weekly blog posts, and with my vlogs. Much love, guys, and I'll see you soon.